the skinny on your health situation? What happened in the wake of the New Jersey game?
Yeah, I felt great after the Jersey game. Woke up the next day, kind of went through our routine, and had a little bit of hip pain. So was able to, try to get through it. Um, tried the practice Friday, no good. And then a couple days rest, was able to go out there and skate, and felt pretty good in that one practice here at home, and felt that I was kind of ready to go. And then after skating, kind of flared up again. So, again, it felt great the next morning, felt okay, and went out there, and then just wasn't able to work through it there in Boston. And, so now it's just a matter of letting it rest and seeing kind of where it goes. But, yeah, it shouldn't be, in my mind, it shouldn't be anything to be overly concerned about. Again, it's just something that kind of flared up that I've never had an issue with, and just kind of see how things go with it.
With all the injuries you had this year, are you giving some serious thought to maybe it's time because of what you've gone through this year?
I've given it some serious thought that it was time the last couple of years. So nothing changes as far as that. I think, there's life after hockey, and at some point you really have to consider, what the injuries are how they're gonna affect, your day-to-day post-career. So, I haven't really put too much thought into it. I mean, obviously, we're dealing with, the neck and the hip, and there's, some serious considerations to take into account. But, I haven't thought too much into it. I think in the next, 2 to 3 weeks, see how things calm down. If things calm down the way I would like them to, then that's when the thought process would kick in.
What was this experience like for you coming to Buffalo, almost the final hour of the first day of free agency when the contract was announced? You don't know exactly what, there's young players on this team. It's kind of a clean slate with the organization at that point. How's it gone when you reflect over on the last season?
I would say it's been amazing. The year has been a great experience. When I did sign, I had, a short conversation with Kevin about the direction that they wanted to go and what they were trying to accomplish. And I felt that I was honored to be kind of selected to be a part of that, because not only did they have faith in my ability to stop the puck, but they also had faith in me as a character person to do the right thing, lead the right way. And they didn't know me from anybody, so I mean that's just between people talking and their information they gathered. That was kind of a nice feeling, knowing that they feel that highly enough about you that they want you to be a part of a group to grow and do things the right way. So, that was exciting, and, the year played out, learning with these guys and getting to know everybody. I think, it's one of the most fun seasons I've ever had, and one that I felt coming to the rink, you enjoyed getting up in the morning, you enjoyed coming to the rink, you enjoyed, sitting there and having a coffee and, hanging out with the guys before practice, after practice. It didn't matter. Guys just wanted to be around each other, and that's, something special here that Kevin and Donnie, and they've it starts from the top. They've built that, and it's resonated through the group.
Well, you could see that. You could see that joy in this team as it was collectively coming together. How strange is it to be talking about a successful season? And I'm not accusing you of anything, but how strange is it to be talking about a successful season here in Buffalo that didn't make the playoffs? And it's curious that you guys find that bright side, or it's maybe good that you guys find that bright side and having seen what's possible here, perhaps.
I think the reason why you see us having fun and enjoying what we're doing right now is the expectations. When expectations are set really high, you're supposed to do this, this, and this, and then you don't meet those expectations. The media get on you, the coaches get on you, the GM. Now everyone's kind of trying to look for reasons why you're not meeting those expectations. As this group grows, the expectations will grow. And it's just managing those expectations. This year, the expectations right from the get-go from Kevin were, we're building a culture the right way, we're going to do things the right way, we're going to get to the end point, which is eventually playoffs, get there, and we understand if that doesn't happen this year, that's okay, but are we going in the right direction? I've been on a lot of teams where you're in the playoffs one year, you're not in the playoffs, you're in the playoffs, you're not in the playoffs. In the years you're not in the playoffs, everybody's at each other's throat because your expectations were we're supposed to be a contending team, and you're not meeting your expectations, so is it the goalie's problem, is it the coach's problem, is it this problem? And then it just snowballs, and then you can never really get out of it. I mean, I think we lost 5 in a row a couple months ago, and we didn't know kind of which way the season could have ended, and we all of a sudden turned things around, and because there was no expectations, we could all sit there and talk about like, hey, we got 30 games left. Where are we going to go? What do we want to accomplish? And you set your goal and you hit it, and that's what's kind of neat. If you set the goals that are realistic, that are still pushing you, you can have a lot of fun. If you set goals that are unrealistic and you don't reach them, that's when things aren't fun. You don't want to be at the rink because of all the negativity. And so was it a successful season in the eyes of the Buffalo Sabres and the players and the organization? Yes. From a standpoint of being in the playoffs and having that success from an NHL standpoint, we're not there yet, and we knew we weren't there yet. And so that's how we can say that we're confident and we're glad with where we're at. But again, we're not satisfied. Let's be clear about that. We're not satisfied with where, and I'm speaking not only for myself, but I'm speaking for the guys in the room, that we're not satisfied with not being in the playoffs. We're satisfied with growing, but we're not satisfied with the end result, and the end result will eventually be being a playoff team.
I think with the growth that we've seen from a lot of players, especially your defensemen, I mean, you played the last month with a defense that's 25 years and younger, all of them. How much different was it to play goal in October for this team than play goal in April for this team?
I don't remember October. But I can definitely comment on the youth defensive core that we have. The nice thing about having a bunch of young defensemen, is from my standpoint and kind of where I was, standing, is they were open to ideas, open to listening, open to criticism. I think through my relationship with those guys and kind of the interactions that I had in the room with them, they were open for, suggestions or ideas of, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you doing that? I would like you to do this. And they weren't stuck in their ways. So having the young guys and being able to adjust them accordingly, how I see fit or how the staff sees fit, it's actually a really strong positive from that standpoint, because they're young, they're super talented, they're super eager to learn, and just the character of them is they're willing to accept a mistake and learn from it and then move forward. A lot of times when you get players that are stuck in their way, they just kind of revert back to their old habits, and you're not able to break that. So it is an enjoyable. I think we saw them grow over the last 20 games, and to really kind of see what they could do over the course of 80. It's yet to be seen, but it is promising because they are young, they are eager, and they all get along together, and they can all play. Yoki can play with Power, Yoki can play with Dolls, Yoki can play with Bryce. Like, everybody can kind of play with everybody else, and they just kind of flow. No one's set like, I got to play with this guy, and I only play better with this guy. And I think that's a key point is that there is a lot of flow that can kind of be interchanged, and that gives the coach a lot of flexibility as well.
When Dahlin was drafted, there was a lot of comparisons, obviously, when anybody's drafted, to Erik Karlsson.
Yep.
You've been with both. What do you see from Dahlin?
Dolls, he's not nearly as dynamic as Erik was in his prime. Erik was, arguably the best player in the league when he was in his prime. So, I think Dolls, can command the game. He can command the puck. His skating is world class. His vision is world class. And I think, he's just going to get better with time. You get support pieces around him to be better. I think you've got a core now that takes the load off of the pressure on him, right? Because you got other guys that can play and eat minutes up. You're not relying on him to play 30 minutes a night and get 3 points a night. I think, I don't want to kind of dive into Eric at all, but I mean, he was a guy that when you needed a goal, you needed a big play. Like you just knew he was going to do it, and he was able to do it. With Dahls, he's dynamic, but he's not a top 3 player in the league, right? He's a top 5% defenseman in the league that brings a lot to the table. But to put that kind of pressure on him to be Erik Karlsson was probably not. Again, it's the media setting expectations for somebody, and he doesn't meet those, so he's now everyone thinks he's not as good as he really is. But he's dynamic, he's great, and he's Rasmus Dahlin. He's not going to be Erik Karlsson. He's not going to be Drew Doughty. He's not going to be so and so. And he really came into his own this year, and I think, he's only going to get better the more experience he gets, and now with some confidence, and now the support pieces around him. It's exciting to see where his growth's going to go.
Is that one of the stories of this team? We saw where Dahlin was in November, and he ends up going to the All-Star game and really growing. We see what Thompson did. One of the things that struck you for all the years you've been in the league is the number of guys who improved within a season.
Yeah, I think, again, this starts from the top. It starts with the confidence that Kevin gives to Donnie and Donnie gives to the players, as far as you're free to make mistakes, you're free to go out there and learn and adapt. And that mentally for a player is what allows you to grow. Not once all season long did Donnie come in and say, you need to be better, you're making all these mistakes, this is negative. Not once. And I think that from a player standpoint gives you the confidence to not only play well, but also it allows you to play stress-free. And when you're stress-free, you're going to make better plays. When you're not thinking about the what ifs. Well, what if I don't make this play? What if I? It just allows you to grow and be that better player. And I think that's the confidence that Donnie gave Tage and gave. I know for sure he had a talk with Dahlin, because he talked about it, about just Dahls, go play, just go play. You're not getting yelled at. Make plays. Whatever you see, go do it. And if it doesn't work out, learn from it, and you be your own assessment, as opposed to a guy that sits there and hammers video on a guy and all his mistakes. It's not good culture, and we didn't do that. And that's, I would say that's probably one of the number one reasons why we had success, as far as from the individual standpoint and the growth they had.
What do you think was Don's greatest accomplishment this season?
I would say his ability to lead the room, to allow us to play with confidence. What I mean by that is he would, no matter how the game went, no matter how the day went, his message was very clear, concise, and positive and uplifting. And that is probably one of the most enjoyable experiences from a coaching standpoint that I've had in a long time.
I can see how tough of a decision you've got. In one way, this is a nice way to finish off a career with, getting some milestone wins and enjoying this team. But the enjoyment that you got out of this team also makes you think about, I want to do this again.
If I was 5 years younger, that would be like the ideal situation right now. Yeah, I mean, the respect that I received as a player, the respect the players in the room get from management, from the coaching staff, you want to be here, you want to play for those guys, and I think again, if this was 5 years ago and we were doing this, this would be a great thing for me to buy in and be long term. But again, the age comes in, the body comes in. As far as I think RJ said it best the other night. The spirit's there, the flesh is not. And like I said, I don't know what capacity if I am able to come back as far as body wise. I don't know what that looks like. I don't know if it's 20 game, 40 game. Who knows? It's kind of like we're in limbo at the moment. The mind says absolutely would love to be with these guys. And that says a lot as far as for the group of the guys and the management and staff.
This will be a family decision.
100%, yeah. I mean, I'll be home doing car line and baseball and for the next 30 to 45 days, and we'll see how angry I get.
Craig, you watched Buchanan play. What did you see in him? Because he's probably going to be up here, one of the two goalies next year. What did you see in him?
Big guy, moves well. A guy that's got a lot of, I guess it's the killer instinct. That I don't care how I stop it, but I'm going to stop the puck. I think that's, one of the things that's really important at this level. It's not sometimes how you look; it's whether you get the job done or not. And he's got all the tools. Like I say, he's 6'5" or 6'6", big presence in the net. Moves laterally side to side better than most of the goalies that I've kind of seen around. And it's just now going to be a matter of can he take the experiences he's getting now and then transfer it. And he goes at this level. It is about winning. It's not about development at the NHL level. And that's obviously talking about that. This year was a development year for the Buffalo Sabres. But when you get to the point now where we start growing to the point where the expectations get to be wins and losses. That's the key is getting to that point. So you need a guy that everyone kind of turns to and says I have confidence in him. And when I look at him in the net. I see that, when I watch him play, he commands the crease, he commands the area. He's a very his demeanor, like his the way he handles himself as far as the body language, instills confidence in himself and the guys around him. So, I'm excited to see kind of where his career progresses to.